Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Ostrich Effect. You know that feeling when your credit card bill arrives, and instead of opening it, you just set it aside, maybe put it under a stack of old magazines. Or perhaps you're pretty sure you aced that exam, but you just can't bring yourself to check the grades online. Congratulations, you're experiencing the Ostrich Effect, named after the mythical idea that ostriches bury their heads in the sand to avoid danger. In reality, ostriches are smarter than that. But we humans, not always. This psychological phenomenon describes our tendency to avoid information that might cause us psychological discomfort. It's not about being truly ignorant, it's about willful ignorance. Our brains are incredibly adept at protecting us from emotional pain, even if that means actively suppressing information that could help us. So, when facing a potential threat, like a looming deadline, a difficult conversation, or, say, the sound of strange growling from a dark alley, instead of confronting it, our brain says, "No, don't look. If I don't see it, it's not real." It's like closing your eyes on a roller coaster. You know the drop is coming. But if you don't watch, maybe it won't be as bad. This avoidance can manifest in countless ways, from ignoring health symptoms to not checking your investments during a market downturn. It's a short-term coping mechanism that feels comforting but often leads to bigger problems down the line. So, the next time you find yourself resisting looking at something important, remember, your brain isn't protecting you. It's just really bad at being a proactive adult. Number 9. The lure of the unknown. Imagine you're exploring an old, abandoned house. Every instinct screams, "Get out!" This place is probably infested with ghosts or at least tetanus. But then, you see it. A dimly lit staircase leading down into what looks like a forgotten basement. A shiver of unease runs down your spine, but there's also a pull, a compelling urge to see what's down there. Despite all common sense, this isn't just morbid curiosity, it's the lure of the unknown. A powerful psychological force that can draw us deeper into potentially dangerous situations. Our brains are wired for exploration and novelty. Back in the day, exploring new territories might have led to new food sources or safer shelters. This inherent drive to discover, to figure things out, is a fundamental part of human nature. But in modern contexts, it can manifest as a powerful attraction to the mysterious, even when that mystery is clearly labeled danger. Do not enter. It's the reason true crime documentaries are so popular, why we slow down to gawk at car accidents, and why some people willingly venture into haunted houses. Our brains crave information, and the unknown represents a gap in our knowledge that feels almost unbearable. It's like a neurological itch that can only be scratched by delving deeper into the abyss. So, the next time you feel an inexplicable pull towards something clearly ill-advised, remember, it's not just you being reckless, it's your primal brain demanding answers, even if those answers come with a side of peril. Number 8. Normalization of deviance. You see it all the time in high-risk professions, and even in everyday life. A safety procedure is skipped once, nothing bad happens, then twice. Then it becomes the norm. What was once considered risky or dangerous slowly, subtly, becomes an acceptable practice. This is the normalization of deviance, and it's a terrifyingly common reason why people wander into danger rather than out of it. It's not about malicious intent or outright stupidity, it's about creeping incrementalism. Our brains are incredibly adaptable, and they love efficiency. If a shortcut works once, and the sky doesn't fall, our brains log it as safe enough. Each successful deviation from the rules or established safe practices reinforces the idea that the risk isn't real, or at least, isn't applicable to us. Think about driving slightly over the speed limit. You do it. You don't get a ticket. You arrive faster. Repeat, soon. Going the speed limit feels wrong. The same applies to more dangerous situations. Ignoring warning signs, entering restricted areas, or taking unnecessary risks. Each time a dangerous behavior doesn't immediately result in negative consequences, our perception of its risk diminishes. It's like a slowly boiling frog. You don't notice the water getting hotter until it's too late. This insidious psychological trap makes us believe we are immune to consequences, leading us to unwittingly embrace risks that would have once terrified us. Number 7. The sunk cost fallacy. You've been waiting in line for hours for that new, exclusive gadget, even though it's raining. You're freezing, and your phone just died. You could leave, go home, be warm and dry, but no. You've already invested so much time. Or maybe you're in a terrible relationship that's clearly going nowhere, but you've been together for 5 years, and it feels like a waste to just walk away. This, my friends, is the sunk cost fallacy, and it's a brilliant example of how our brains trick us into throwing good money or time, or effort, or even safety after bad. It's the irrational tendency to continue an endeavor once an investment of money, effort, or time has been made. The core idea is that we don't want our previous investments to feel wasted. Our brains hate the idea of a loss, so we double down, hoping to recoup our initial investment, even if the current path is clearly detrimental. This means we often ignore new, more rational information that suggests we should abandon ship. In dangerous situations, this could manifest as continuing to climb a mountain in bad weather because you've already spent days trekking, or refusing to turn back from a precarious hiking trail because you're almost there. Your brain, in its attempt to rationalize past decisions and avoid the feeling of failure, blinds you to the escalating danger. It's like being stuck in a bad movie, but you stay until the end because you already paid for the ticket. Only, in real life, the consequences can be a lot more severe than a terrible plot twist. Number 6. Ignorance isn't bliss, it's obliviousness. You've just moved to a new city, and your friend suggests a shortcut through what looks suspiciously like a deserted industrial park at night. You shrug, sure, why not? You genuinely don't perceive the heightened risk because you simply lack the knowledge to identify the dangers. This isn't quite the Ostrich Effect's willful ignorance, it's a more benign, yet equally perilous, state of ignorance that borders on obliviousness. Sometimes, people wander into danger not because they're being reckless or avoiding facts, but because they genuinely don't have the mental framework or experience to recognize the threat. Think about a tourist accidentally wandering into a dangerous neighborhood in a foreign city because they don't know which streets to avoid, or someone confidently handling a piece of machinery without proper training, unaware of the potential for injury. Their brain isn't processing danger because it lacks the necessary data points to trigger that warning. It's like having a computer with a missing antivirus definition. It just doesn't know what to flag as a threat. This lack of awareness can stem from inexperience, a sheltered upbringing, or simply a failure to acquire critical safety information. It's a reminder that common sense isn't always common, and what seems obvious to one person with a particular set of experiences might be completely invisible to another. So, the next time someone does something that seems incredibly foolhardy, consider that they might not be actively choosing danger. They might just be delightfully or tragically unaware of it. Number 5. The hero complex and risk glamorization. You see it in movies all the time, the lone hero rushing into a burning building, or facing down insurmountable odds, driven by a need to save someone or prove something. In real life, while genuine heroism exists, there's also a darker psychological current at play, the hero complex and risk glamorization. For some individuals, the idea of facing down danger, of being the one who saves the day or conquers an impossible challenge, is incredibly alluring. It's not just about altruism, it's about ego, about the thrill of defying death, and about the potential social validation that comes with being perceived as brave or extraordinary. Our society, through media and storytelling, often glorifies risk-takers and portrays dangerous situations as opportunities for personal growth or ultimate triumph. This constant reinforcement can subtly warp our perception of risk, making perilous situations seem less like threats and more like stages for personal glory. It taps into a deep-seated human desire for significance and recognition. It's like your brain is whispering, "This isn't danger, this is your moment. This is where you become legendary." This can lead people to deliberately place themselves in harm's way, not out of necessity, but out of a subconscious desire for that heroic narrative. So, while we applaud genuine courage, remember that sometimes, the urge to be a hero can lead individuals to wander into danger that a more rational mind would carefully avoid. Number 4. The Impulsivity Imp. You're at the edge of a cliff, looking down at the crashing waves. A tiny, mischievous voice in your head whispers, "Jump!" Or you're holding a fragile glass, and for a split second, you have the urge to smash it. No, you're not going crazy probably. You're experiencing a brush with the Impulsivity Imp, those sudden, intrusive urges to do something risky, forbidden, or just plain bizarre. While most of us quickly suppress these thoughts, for some, the line between thought and action is incredibly thin, leading them to wander straight into danger. Impulsivity is a complex psychological trait, often linked to executive functions in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and inhibiting inappropriate behaviors. When this system isn't functioning optimally, or when it's overwhelmed by other factors like stress, peer pressure, or lack of sleep. Those fleeting urges can gain a terrifying amount of power. It's like the little devil on your shoulder suddenly gets a megaphone and your angel is stuck in traffic. This can manifest as reckless driving, engaging in risky dares, or making spontaneous, dangerous decisions without fully considering the consequences. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes our brains, in their desire for immediate gratification or novelty, can temporarily override the very systems designed to keep us safe. So, the next time you feel a bizarre urge to do something incredibly stupid, take a deep breath, count to 10, and remember that your brain is just being a mischievous little brat, not necessarily guiding you to your doom. Number 3, the illusion of control. You're driving in heavy traffic, weaving in and out of lanes, convinced you're a superior driver, totally in control of your destiny, despite the obvious risks. Or maybe you're playing a slot machine, convinced that your lucky streak or a specific ritual will influence the outcome. This, my friends, is the illusion of control, a powerful cognitive bias that makes us believe we have more influence over random or uncontrollable events than we actually do. Our brains crave predictability and order. When faced with uncertainty or potential danger, it's deeply uncomfortable. So, to alleviate that discomfort, our brains often create the comforting fiction that we are somehow manipulating the odds, or that our skills are so exceptional they negate inherent risks. This can be particularly dangerous when it comes to wandering into peril. We might take unnecessary risks because we genuinely believe we can handle them. We can escape. We are different. It's why people might attempt to cross a fast-flowing river, convinced their personal strength will overcome the current, or venture onto thin ice, believing their careful steps will defy physics. It's like playing a video game on easy mode in real life, convincing yourself that the difficulty level is low because you're such a skilled player. The danger isn't that you're bad at something. The danger is that you're overestimating your ability to mitigate risks that are fundamentally beyond your complete control. This comforting delusion can lead us straight into situations where reality has a very rude awakening in store. Number 2. The Bystander Effect's evil twin. You're at a crowded beach. Someone is clearly struggling in the water, maybe even yelling for help. Your first thought might be, someone else will surely help them. And then, agonizingly, no one does. This is the bystander effect, where the presence of others diffuses individual responsibility. Now, imagine its evil twin, which isn't about not helping, but about joining the dangerous crowd. Let's call it the herd instinct to hazard. People often wander into danger precisely because others are doing it. When a group is collectively moving towards a precarious situation, say, rushing a stage at a concert, or walking into a clearly unsafe building because everyone else is, our individual critical thinking often gets outsourced to the collective. Our brains, seeking social conformity and safety in numbers, often assume that if a large group is doing something, it must be safe, or at least acceptable. The inherent human need to belong, to not be seen as the odd one out, can be a powerful driver. It's a form of social proof gone horribly wrong. If everyone else is jumping off this bridge, it can't be that bad, right? Your brain overrides its personal danger warnings because the group's perceived safety signal is louder. The fear of social exclusion or looking foolish can be more potent than the fear of physical harm, leading individuals to blindly follow the pack, even if that pack is heading straight towards a cliff. It's a stark reminder that sometimes safety in numbers is a complete fallacy. Number 1, the optimism bias. Not me. You smoke. Despite all the health warnings, convinced that lung cancer happens to other people, you text and drive, certain that you won't be the one to get into an accident. You ignore that weird noise in your car, thinking it'll be fine until tomorrow. Welcome to the granddaddy of all cognitive distortions when it comes to wandering into danger, the optimism bias, or as I like to call it, the not me effect. This pervasive psychological phenomenon is our tendency to overestimate the likelihood of positive events happening to us and underestimate the likelihood of negative events. We genuinely believe we are less likely than others to experience misfortunes like illness, accidents, divorce, or financial ruin. It's an almost innate human tendency to see our future through rose-tinted glasses. Why does our brain do this? Well, a certain degree of optimism is essential for mental well-being and motivation. If we constantly dwelled on every possible negative outcome, we'd never leave the house. So, our brain, in its infinite wisdom and occasional naivete, filters reality to make us feel safer and more resilient than we actually are. The problem arises when this healthy dose of optimism crosses into delusional territory. leading us to dismiss genuine threats. We ignore warning signs, take reckless chances, and neglect precautions because our internal narrative insists that bad things only happen to other, less fortunate, less skilled, or less careful people. It's why people stay in abusive relationships, thinking it'll get better, or neglect safety gear, believing I'll be fine. This bias is insidious because it operates subconsciously, painting a comforting but ultimately false picture of invulnerability. It's like having a personal force field of delusion that protects you from the emotional discomfort of acknowledging risk, but offers no actual protection from the physical consequences. So, the next time you dismiss a warning or take an unnecessary chance, just remember, your brain isn't protecting you from danger, it's protecting you from the inconvenient truth that you are, in fact, just as fallible as everyone else. And sometimes, that comforting lie is the most dangerous path of all. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.